Today, we're talking about the retail moments that AI can't replicate. So, as I'm sure you're all aware, there's lots of noise around AI in retail. Every event, every webinar, you could say even this one, and every vendor seems to have AI somewhere in it. But the more useful question for us is not where can we use AI, but what problems are we trying to fix with it? So, that's the interesting part. Not AI replacing the store teams, it's using AI and technology to remove the friction so store teams have more time, confidence, and support in the moments that customers still come into our stores for. And because customers are still real people, they come in with questions, they're under pressure, they're often frustrated or excited, and they have decisions to be made. And AI can support the store, but people are the reason they come in to visit us. So that's what we'll be exploring today. I'm happy to be joined by Barbara Menzel, who brings retail leadership experience from the likes of Michael Kors, Martens and Marc Jacobs, and has a growing focus on data science, AI, and retail technology. So, Barbara, please take a moment to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Ben. It's really a pleasure to be here today. It's such a relevant topic in conversation to talk about right now. There's so much noise about AI in retail, but no one talks really much about the shop floor and what's happening on the shop floor. So really looking forward today to dive in with you a little bit deeper.
Thank you, Barbara. And to introduce myself, I'm Ben Collier. I'm one of the co-founders at Ocasta. We're a frontline operations platform that helps take the guesswork out of retail, not just at the front line, but in head office as well. So, Barbara, when we talk about stores still mattering, I think people often reduce that to customers want to buy something or customers want to return something. But in your experience, what are the real moments that people still come into stores for?
After in 20 years visiting stores across Europe and EMEA, the moments that really stick with me were not the ones with the product. It were the moments where a person handled those moments. I remember a store visit where I watched this play out in real time. A customer came in, wanted to return an item, and instead of just processing the return, the team member asked why. What was it a fit? Was it a color? Was it something else? And instead of ending there, this turned in a real conversation, helping the customer to find a better fit, matching colors, to really complete the outfit. What literally started as a return became a styling session. And the customer left the store not with a refund, but with 3 items bought and real confidence that what she was wearing was really what she wanted to have. And I believe that's not just a transaction, that's a judgment, knowing to ask the right questions, reading a customer, what they want, if they just want help, want to have a quick fix. And no algorithm can ask why with genuine curiosity. It's a person could do that. And that's a moment that turned into a loyal customer.
No, and I think that's the piece that gets missed a lot in these AI conversations. It's that the store isn't just that transactional channel. It's a human environment. And the danger is that we use technology to make the stores more efficient, but kind of accidentally strip out the reasons people came in the first place. So, and obviously there's a lot of talk ever since the beginning of retail, it's been talk about the customer experience, but I think often the people that are creating that experience get forgotten, and stores are designed to stimulate customers. So much thought's put into the lighting, the displays, what music, what promotions should we have, the flow through the store and the sales journeys. But obviously it's the colleagues that are standing in these environments for hours on end. And I wondered, how should these retail leaders think about the colleague experience that's behind that customer experience?
That's so valid, because I have to say, if you go into a store, it's stimulating. But if you really stand in there for hours a day, it can be quite exhausting for an employee. So for me, to looking at what I've experienced, a team that consistently outperformed were the ones creating real connections with the customer, active listening, understanding their needs, making people feel genuinely seen. And usually at the heart of those teams was a manager who lived and breathed the shop floor culture. My earlier example about the return turned into a multiple purchase customer, that doesn't happen by accident. It happened because team members feel confident enough to properly engage with a customer. And that's not luck, that's a well trained team. And it's a culture a manager deliberately builds. I think a good manager doesn't just design a great space for customer, they also design a great space for their team. A team where they really can feel, does the team need energy in that moment? Do they need a moment to reset? Or do I need to coach in the moment to really help to improve my team?
No, I love that. And for me, a thing we always have to call ourselves out on at Ocasta, and I think the same goes for any head office team, is to make sure that we're remembering that these are people working together on the shop floor all day long. And it's easy to plan a piece of training or a piece of learning or a comms or even a promotion without thinking, how's that going to land when the team are all there together and with the chance to do that. And I just wondered, are there any small adjustments that you've seen that can make, like really small adjustments that can help the teams in store trying to coach and work together?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like there are a few things like AI can't replicate. It's like reading a customer's intent, knowing when to approach or when to give a customer space and step back, how to handle a complaint with genuine empathy, coaching someone in the right tone and at the moment is something what needs to be done in the right way, and AI couldn't do that. So there's specific behaviors, and that's exactly why they can be observed, coached, and improved. And human judgment isn't mysterious, it just needs the right attention. So judgment can't be trained, but it does only come from experience.
Yeah, and I think that's where that manager judgment is obviously important when they're dealing with customers, but perhaps even more important when they're dealing internally with their own teams around that. I mean, as you've kind of touched on, they're not just running the store, they've got to read the team, see where those gaps are, and create the right conditions for their people to perform.
Absolutely. And the thing is as well, it's not a one-off thing. It's a culture you need to create. And if a store manager is good in it, it's how you create a team and drive a team and give a different customer experience. So you need to repeat. And it's not a single session. Repeat, coach, reinforce, do it again and again. And then it becomes a culture of a team.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And if we had to list out some of those key retail moments that AI can't replicate, or at least shouldn't be, what would be on your list?
It's really about things you need to feel. When you're on the shop floor, you feel a customer's coming in and they're just looking around browsing. Very often they say, I'm not looking for something specific, but they just say to have their peace and quiet. But if you then get in connection, you connect with a customer, you see, you really get to know the customer, get a little bit, do they look for something for themselves, for someone else? And I think if you have this empathy to feel a little bit what a customer wants, they open actually up and they share what they would like to see. And that's something AI wouldn't be able to replicate. It's like feeling the connection. Are they hesitant? Do they need more confidence in buying? Or is it maybe something else they're looking for where you can really help to explore what they're looking for?
And obviously, building in that judgment into your teams can be quite a challenge. And how do you see good retailers effectively helping their managers kind of build judgment into their daily work?
I think we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. It's for me, the basics on the shop floor is really about the simple coaching framework is acknowledgement and greeting, approaching the customer, giving space, reapproaching and connecting, asking open questions to really explore and understand what their needs are and helping to make them decision. Even if it doesn't lead in that moment to a transaction, the customer will feel the empathy and the service culture around it and they will come back. And then when they come back, that's actually the measure that you've done something right.
And I think that's the kind of heart of this whole conversation, isn't it? It's not letting AI get in the way of those moments. And And quite frankly, human judgment isn't that vague. It can be opinionated at times, but you can see it in behaviors. And as you kind of said, you can observe it, you can coach it, and you can improve it as well.
Yeah, and
So,
the best manager don't wait for an annual review to coach. They deliberately do it in the moment, 2 minutes after customer interaction while it still feels fresh. So that's where actually behavior is built and changed.
yeah, no, absolutely. And in those, well, you mentioned the performance reviews, and it's always struck me how performance reviews, whether they're monthly, quarterly, or even annually, in some cases we've seen, and that obviously just does not work for retail. You'll only be looking at the last handful of transactions that you can remember, and that's for me where observations and coaching become really powerful, because you're having those conversations kind of at least every week, but hopefully every day in the store to help build those pieces out. And so I suppose on the topic of observations, what kind of behaviors would you expect a manager to be observing in a kind of strong customer interaction?
I think it's really about the listening, the behavior to be on the shop floor, to be best practice as well. So you are there to be able to observe your team, give immediate feedback, and the behavior for me is really about, it shouldn't be criticism. It should be more a noticing, like kind of, I could see you asking great question to discover what the customer really wants, but I could see you missed an add-on moment. So next time, please try to explore this area as well so we can improve as a team. And that's coaching. It's not criticism. So that's changed a little bit the behavior on the shop floor.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And there's some great frameworks out there for delivering great feedback in those coaching sessions, whether that's the continue and begin. So continue doing the things they're good at, and begin, i.e. the areas that need improvement. So as you say, it steps away from criticism. But I was actually in one of our customer stores a while back, and I watched the manager use our app to observe somebody in action. And for me, it's always felt like, well, do people want to be observed and watched? But actually, as soon as the transaction was complete, they ran over to the store manager and said, how did I do? Where can I improve? And actually, if you can really get that strong culture of coaching, and as you say, show that it's not a performance management tool in the sense of you'll be criticized for poor performance, but it's about lifting everybody up and becoming really powerful. And I think that's where, for me, the observations and coaching become really useful. And obviously, you can do things like mystery shop, and you can have a dashboard telling you something's happened after the fact. But those managers observing those real interactions with real customers, they're going to spot those moments whilst they're still fresh, and they'll coach it and create an action off the back of it. So, and as we've kind of covered, it moves that conversation away from you need to sell better towards, I noticed you asked a really good discovery question, but you missed that add-on moment. So what could you try next time, and build out those conversations off the back of that. So when we did our prep call for this, you said something that I really liked, which was around store managers needing to evolve to be more like L&D people. Can you just share a little bit with the audience what you meant by that?
So yeah, absolutely. So I think store managers, it is like that, really measured purely on operational output, shrinkage, sales, compliance. But the best ones I've worked with, they shape confidence with the team. They shape the capability of the team. They work on the customer experience every single day. And those strengths are more related to L&D functions, even if nobody calls it like that. But I think the problem is managers can't coach if they are trapped in admin or firefighting, what they need to do. Coaching needs to be built into a role. So if all the operational output takes over the time of a store manager, this will lead to be off the shop floor, means the L&D, the coach in a store manager is not there where it's most needed with the customer and the team. So this is something what really needs to be built in. Make the manager a coach.
And I think that's the tale old as time in retail, of managers spending too much time in the back office and not enough time on the shop floor where they can really make an impact and support the teams from there. So, and more I'm seeing that there's a need for operations teams, L&D teams, and the kind of frontline internal comms teams to work together, because they're all trying to push the same message forward, get the teams to perform and support them in that role. And from my experience of working with them, they've always got their finger on the pulse of where those frontline challenges are. And some of the retailers we're working with seeing more and more that they're bringing in some of the L&D might have sat as a central function in the past, but they're seeing actually for a lot of retailers, most of their employees are the front line in the retail stores, but actually there's an L&D team that's more focused on the head office training and maybe forgets about the retail team. So we're seeing more and more people bring that kind of L&D team sitting under operations, supporting the front line. And I think that's where we're in a strong place to get those people to coach and improve the managers to be able to support the team. So, and if we talk about where technology should help and not take over, so I think we've covered we're not trying to replace the manager's judgments. We're trying to give them the kind of better tools and visibility to close the loop. But where can AI help without taking over? So do you have any areas you've seen that it genuinely is helping retail teams?
Absolutely. I think AI is really about removing admin and not removing people. So it can really help to reduce reporting time, summarize data, spotting patterns. Labor planning can be done, giving faster access to product knowledge, turning observation data into coaching on the shop floor. So that's where I tools really can help a lot. I give you an example of what my example is, which is phenomenal, is like usually as on a Monday, I spend to read through multiple reportings to create my executive report, pulling data from multiple sources, formatting it, interpreting it, summarizing it, get something out of Excel and pulling it all together. So this took me nearly a whole Monday. And with the right AI tool, this takes me now 60 to approximately 90 minutes max. So that's literally a full day given back, time I could spend on the shop floor on coaching teams, making commercial decisions instead of sitting behind a screen. And that's why AI can really suggest and summarize and prompt, but people still need to interpret the context and make the judgment call. So that's the difference between AI that helps and AI that tries to replace. For me, AI helps to give more time to human on the shop floor.
That's it. And I think a key point that obviously AI is causing lots of job losses across many different industries right now, but at the end of the day, retail, you go into a store to see the people. And I think it's, as you
Exactly.
say, anything we can do to make sure the people are on the shop floor and not back of office and actually putting the work in is going to be really important from that. So, I mean, one of the things we've seen from AI adoption is this is where the language that's used can really impact the adoption. So one of our partners that has a workforce management system, they launched auto scheduling in the platform. You mentioned labor planning being a key part of that, and when they launched it, they called it auto schedule. They'd press a button and the schedules would be made for the managers, and the managers hated it because they felt like it was taking over their job. It was removing their judgment. But interestingly, they just relaunched it with a change of messaging and called it schedule assistant. So it was helping them do their job better. And after that happened, everyone loved it, and it took out a burden because nobody likes doing the rostering or the schedules. But at the end of the day, they want to feel like they're in control of it as well. You said something important again when we were catching up around head office should be serving the stores, but too often the stores end up serving head office. So can you share a little around that?
Sure. I truly believe stores are the ones need the service from head office and not the other way around. And managers spend so much time on calls, on meetings, filling reports after report, which means the leader of a store is pulled away from two things matter the most in retail, from the customer and from their team. So that reduces their time massively to be on the shop floor. So head office, in my opinion, should be sending clarity, insights, not just demanding more data from them. The flow of value should go both way, not just upward. So for me, it's really about how can head office should be very AI tool heavy and provide the data to the store. So when the store manager starts in the morning, opening up their Outlook, they have the report ready. They have the 3 to 5 key moments what they need to take care of the day, and that's it. And they can go on and take care of the customer in the shop floor.
Perfect. And one of the things we've built into Ocasta is kind of quick ask a question, and it will search across all of the comms, the knowledge base, and just give them an instant answer to anything they're looking for. So instead of having to even open Outlook on the Monday morning, they know everything that they need to do and when they need to do it as well. And I think that's, again, all about just reducing that guesswork and that wastage that happens at the front line as well. So for me, AI isn't a chance to reduce the headcount. It's a chance to increase the efficiency and make sure the people are doing what they should be doing, as you kind of keep bringing it back to. And
Agreed.
and I know you've got some views around kind of area managers and where they fit into all of this as well.
Yes, because when we talk about training on the shop floor, and if the data is ready, and also for store managers, and for area managers, they don't need to just travel where they need to travel, like just to kick a box to go every 4 weeks into every single store. They can focus their findings of the data into specific store visits. For example, they can see there's a need in coaching the team, so they know specifically when I go to that store, my day will be purely training on the shop floor. The next one would be they can see there's like loss prevention problem with provided with the AI data. And then so you can really see, okay, cool. It's all about loss prevention training for that store. So they can prepare ahead of their visit what needs to be done. And also the beauty is when you have the coaching, if the coaching is on for me one of the main things, you can see who is extremely great in coaching and what KPIs are aligned with what the expectations are in coaching. So you can really find a buddy system and say, okay, that store does it extremely well. Why don't we buddy up store A with store B, and they can help each other? It's not about finding weaknesses. It's more about finding their strengths and taking the strength to spread the strength. So to make the whole team stronger, it's really about feeling confident on the shop floor. That's how I see it. And area managers would save a lot of time in analyzing the data because it would be pulled already from headquarters and provided like for the store manager, so they can be very proactive in their approach.
No, I love that. And I won't name and shame the retailer, but I know one retailer that reduced the amount of store visits they were doing because the area manager said, I need to spend more time at home to do all of the admin and the paperwork that has kind of come with the job. And you think, I don't know if that's a failing of the area manager or the business in general, expecting so much reporting back from them. But as you've highlighted, the area managers need to be out there in the stores because that's where they can make the biggest impact as
I
well.
think it's very important there's a lot of data out there. I think if you know where your target goes, you need to focus on the right data as well. And if the right data is analyzed and you know exactly what you need to do, you go for it. And pulling an area manager off store visit is in my opinion, the wrong step because they make a huge difference on the shop floor. They bring energy, they bring news from different stores, experiences they share. They have as well latest news from head office and all those things. So they drive energy, they drive positivity to the stores. So I think pulling them away is not the right step, in my opinion.
No, and hopefully that's one of those cases where AI can reduce that overhead for them and produce those reports for them, and they can get back into the field where their skills are and where they're most valuable. So one of the things we're going to give to all of our attendees today is a framework that you can use about deciding when AI should or shouldn't be used. And Barbara, you've kind of covered it already, but I know you've got that view around AI should be in the back office, not on the shop floor. And did you just have any final thoughts around that you could elaborate on?
For me, it's very important. Anything what is repetitive can be automated. That's where AI can be brilliant add on to help the store teams to have more time on the shop floor. That's very important. On the other side, for me as well, protect the human on the shop floor because they can't be replaced. If you go into a store, you have an intention why you go into a store. You would like to meet people, you would like to have the interaction, you would like to explore the brand from a different channel. So it's an interaction. So protect the human on the shop floor. And the other thing is like really about support. You want to give the right support to your store team, but also to your customers. So coaching prompts, observation summaries, the product knowledge, all the things, I think is the right way how to use AI.
No, I like that. And as I say, we've got that framework that we'll share, but the kind of top level for us is take any moment that you've got in store and then you can consider whether you should automate it, support it, or protect it. And I think you've already said protect the human there, so that fits in nicely. But I'm sure lots of people have seen the robots that Tesco's are trialing that are going to walk the floor and spot the shelf gaps. And for me, that's actually a great use of automation because it's quite a terrible use of human capital to have them walking around looking at the gaps in the shelves. And I think the efficiencies and gaps it's finding are at a different level entirely. But then if you try to automate, say, a customer coming in to choose their wedding ring, that's going to lose the magic for them. So the framework's really there to help support and find those moments that work out. And I say, well, we'll email that one pager over to all the attendees, as well as a wrap up of the session early next week. And so, I mean, just to summarize, and we'll get to a couple of questions after this, but there's a lot of pressure on retailers to do something with AI. I'm sure everyone's feeling it, but I think for me, the best starting point isn't the technology, it's those moments in the store. So, and I think the retailers that get AI right are going to be the ones not shouting loudest about AI, but they'll be using it quietly in the background to support their people to make sure those moments in store continue to be the reasons that customers come in. So AI can support the store, but people are what make it worth visiting. So thank you so much, Barbara, for sharing your insight and your knowledge with us all today. And I appreciate everyone that's been joining. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.